The amount of fruit, the kind of fruit that you have in your diet completely depends on you as an individual, your environment, your lifestyle, and is a daily adjustment. I highly recommend you stop worrying about the numbers or the grams that you should be intaking and start tuning in. How do you feel after certain fruits? What time of day do you eat the fruits, and how do you feel after that, and the amount that you are consuming? I have been traveling and noticed that my fruit intake depends on multiple factors, including my inventory of day-to-day activities. So typically, if you are more active, naturally you're gonna need more fruit and more carbs for energy. However, for the rest of us, if you are noticing that you are having unpleasant reactions to fruit, such as bloating, digestive issues, undesirable bowel movements, skin rashes, or increased sugar cravings, maybe you might want to try lessening your fruit intake, trying different fruits. Some are more fibrous than others, some have a different nutritional profile, or change up the timing that you eat your fruit, such as separating it from your protein, or maybe having your fruit earlier on in the day. So to fruit or not to fruit, that is the question I get asked a lot. And guess what? This depends entirely on you. Fruit is bred to be sweet, and there are significant differences between sugar and fruit in its entirety, including honey. By looking at sugar from a reductionism standpoint, I feel we are missing the whole picture. Fruit and honey as a whole food matrix, honey as raw and unfiltered, seem to have a purpose that provides humans with nutritional benefits. Whole foods contain compounds that are information for our bodies. These affect the way that fructose is handled in our physiology. There are many examples of fruit as a whole food matrix having different effect than processed sugars stripped from the food during processing. I believe this to even be the case when we are juicing our fruit. With that said, I would consider your position. Those without pre-existing conditions such as diabetes or pre-diabetics, it's not harmful to try. So I would say, considering your goals and doing it in moderation, the dose is always the poison. Give it a try. Otherwise, if you're doing fine without fruit and honey, stick to it. But those potentially that may be suffering from electrolyte issues, hormonal imbalances, or muscle cramps, or energy, give it a try. Are you worried about spiking blood sugar? The idea that rising blood sugar in response to fruit and honey is harmful is not entirely true. Blood sugar bumps healthy human physiology, and having insulin rise after a meal has many benefits, including proper electrolyte maintenance. Recently, I used a CGM and found it to be super helpful to gain more data on my health. I had normal physiological insulin responses and have gone as high up as 150 milligrams per deciliter. As you can see, I have high spikes, but I'm not concerned when my fasting blood sugar is in the low 80s. Do I fear this? No, because about 1 hour later, my blood sugar went back to a baseline. You can also see the glucose area under the curve is small. Carbs from fruit do not create insulin resistance. The more important number is your fasting insulin, and mine is 2.9. The focus should be on food quality rather than keeping blood sugar under 110. 140 milligrams per deciliter is a normal bump when eating a nourishing diet. Ripeness is an evolutionary response to the plants being ready to germinate. Until the seed is ready to germinate, plants will not make the fruit bright. They won't make it sweet or fragrant. Ripeness is an indicator that attracts bees to pollinate and is much safer for human consumption. It's a natural evolutionary mechanism to ensure that the seed lives on by making the fruit more attractive and less defensive at the time of ripeness. When it is ripe, the fruit is at its least toxic state. The seed is intended to survive the digestive tract, and it is full of anti-nutrients and not absorbable, which is why we avoid and remove the seeds the best that we can. Just because a mango is bright in color does not mean it's ripe. It can be green. So basically you want to pick it up, give it a squeeze. If it has a nice little softness to it, then that means it's ripe. So kind of similar to an avocado or a peach. When you pick it up, it has a little bit of give. Not too much where you pierce the skin or your finger goes through. So it can also be a little bit hard, and then you just take it home, and the next few days it should ripen. Do you ever wonder why strawberries in the summer and non-sweet fruits in the winter taste so good and just feel so right? Well, for ages, we've been eating with the seasons. Summer berries contain antioxidants that can help protect us from sun damage, while winter crops can help boost our immunity with vitamin C. Also, there is nothing quite like tasting the flavors of the season at their peak ripeness. So, apart from it bursting with flavor, it's also in its least defensive state. By purchasing in-season fruits, your cost is much lower for produce. I also like to think there's a timeless wisdom that comes with syncing with the seasons.